Just ask someone else to take the test for me.
Is it dark up there now when you wake up, or is it
Abs-
always dark in Seattle?
Not always dark in Seattle, but it is dark, and it's actually a plus in some ways, minus in others. You're generally in the house now around 6:30. Gets dark around
Yeah.
7. Kennedy tends to see that. Daddy, it's dark. In order to actually get her down last night, I took her out and I took her out and showed her the moon. It was
Oh, that's
7:30.
nice.
I was like, will you say good night, moon? She says, good night, moon. And went down. Yeah, so it's getting
Oh,
darker. What about LA?
yeah. It's starting to get dark in the morning when I wake up. When you get off work, it's dark. But after week one, there's a lot of darkness out there for NFL teams. Welcome to Big Ben and K Winn on nofilter.net and YouTube. If you're more of an audio podcast, we got you covered. Download, 5-star rate us, and subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. I'm K Winn. He's Big Ben, and he can't wait for NFL Week 2.
Ooh, Dolphins, Bills on Thursday. Thank goodness I have Prime.
Oh, yeah.
Prime is a good investment if you haven't made it already. It is, in my opinion. Well, we live here in Seattle. Amazon's based in Seattle. You can get whatever you want in like 3 hours, maybe 2, just depending on what route they take. But I am excited for week 2 in that the Bills-Dolphins is, it's division rivals, obviously.
Yeah.
Big division rivals. There's Tua, there's Josh Allen, there's Tyreek. With what happened last week with Tyreek, Calais Campbell, the Bills had to come back against Arizona. They didn't get a look in the first half. Josh just took it in his own hands in the second half. Like this, week 1's always like, okay, but week 2 is like, are the teams really who they were in week 1, or was it an anomaly? And we'll see a lot of that this week.
Well, in preseason now, there's not a lot of live fire. There's not a lot
Mm-hmm.
of like starters out there. So you really don't know what you have when you're calling plays, when you're scheming up things. So I think Bill Belichick said the biggest jump you'll see from a team is from week 1 to week 2. Like
Mm-hmm.
once you see what you got, you kind of know what you have and you know how you can scheme and call plays for. So I'm excited for week 2. I'm also excited for Dolphins Bills tonight. Rivals, I don't know. Maybe they're siblings because the Bills are the older brother, right?
Right.
Uh,
But you got 2 different demographics. You got Buffalo, New York, not in the middle of nowhere, but more or less, you got 2 franchises up there. You got the Sabres, you got the Bills. It's near the Canadian border. Those guys, everyone in Buffalo lives for the Bills season.
yeah.
Miami is a little more transient, a little more passive, a little more. If the Dolphins are good, we're going to go watch. It's warm weather out there. I think the Dolphins showed up in like week 14 to Buffalo with short sleeves on. Like
Yeah.
they just don't know how to prepare for cold weather. But it is nice to see them early in the season kick off Thursday night football, get us ready for the week of NFL. I want to go back to one thing that you said.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Biggest jump from week 1 to week 2, and I agree with you here. Marvin Harrison Jr., number 4 draft pick, came out and said, I was thinking too much. Like he was just, is this the right route? He didn't play a lot in preseason. A lot of these guys didn't. So you saw a lot of ad hoc, and whoever had the best athlete in the game generally won. So that's why teams like the Bills end up winning, able to ad hoc with Josh Allen and the running quarterback. But I agree with you. There are a lot of players I think that had down week 1s that are going to
Yeah.
have really good week 2s.
What we saw was a lot of these great Hall of Fame caliber rookie quarterbacks look like rookies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was the week of field goal kickers because all these field goal kickers, like the guy in Pittsburgh had 6. Jake Moody on the Niners had 5 or 6. Like there were so many field goals. That's because there's not enough starters playing in the preseason. It'll be different week 2, but I'm glad you brought that up about Marvin Harrison Jr. because I can't wait for the Rams-Cardinals matchup. So the Cardinals look good in the first half. They did all of this against the Bills without really much from Trey McBride or Marvin Harrison Jr. And the Rams on the other side are down Puka, but all that means is that love bond between Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp becomes that much tighter and stronger.
20 targets, I believe Cooper Kupp had that first. I mean, that's and Matt Stafford, or excuse me, Cooper Kupp fits Matt Stafford's kind of persona. Balls in tight windows. Get it back, 2-3 step drop, boom, out. Cooper can run routes probably better than anyone in the NFL. And now the downside to Puka not being there is that Cooper Kupp becomes wide receiver one. The only difference there is he operates out of the slot, but you're probably going to see a shadow from the top cornerback. And unfortunately, or fortunately for the Rams, unfortunately for the Cardinals, the cornerbacks for the Cardinals just aren't that great.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to matter. It's going to be Cooper, more Cooper this week. The Rams have Demarcus Robinson. They have another receiver that I can't think of. But Stafford trusts Cooper. And so he's got those eyes for Cooper. When you want to find one woman, you only have eyes for that one woman.
Mm-hmm.
He's only got eyes for Cooper Kupp.
And McCaffrey's coming back this week. He said he's going to play for the Niners decision. I think they kind of saw that we'll beat the Jets. We'll field goal them to death. We don't need you, Christian. But the offense was just awkward without him. Like you saw, they weren't able to capitalize on red zone opportunities. Ayuk dropped the ball again going back. He didn't play at all in preseason. He's probably not ready to go. I'm excited for week 2. I think there's going to be a lot more scoring, a lot more touchdowns had out there. And then, you see guys emerge like Isaiah Likely. That game was insane. If he's wearing, white colored shoes rather than black, then maybe it's a touchdown. That type of stuff happens. But I do have a take for you.
All right, let's hear it.
My NFL take for this upcoming season, just after even watching week 1, this will be the best wide receiver class in a long, long time.
The rookie class.
So Xavier Worthy, kind of right? He was kind of an afterthought. Like he's a track star, 4.2 40, comes out and scores 2 touchdowns, 1 on a reverse.
He looked like nice. Tyreek Hill out there.
He did. Like he's the cheetah. What do we call Tyreek?
Cheetah.
He's Xavier's the Panther.
Okay.
Whatever we want to call him. But Ladd McConkey looked pretty good for the Chargers. You had Neighbors was the leading receiver for the Giants. Roma Dunze got banged up a little bit, and then Harrison Jr. didn't have that good of a week. Brian Thomas Jr. scored a touchdown for the Jags. Yeah. Like this, it's a deep class. You saw good things happen, even without probably the maybe top 2 wide receivers in the class have really down games. So this is going to be the top wide receiver corp in a draft for a long, long time. I mean, these guys are good.
You guys are great. You even got that guy in Carolina, Xavier Leggett.
Yeah,
he's pretty
Don
good.
Mitchell.
You've got the guys out in San Francisco, Ricky Parasol. Thankfully survived the incident, but he looked good in camp. You got to figure once they plug him into the system at some point, he's going to shine in that offense. I like that take on rookie wide receivers.
And the nice thing is, I think what we've seen, the trend will be wide receivers are going to go earlier and earlier. It's a passing league now. It's an absolute passing league. There's going to be two positions that are going to be highly valued: quarterback, mobile quarterbacks that we're seeing, and wide receivers. Because you snag a wide receiver, we're seeing what the type of deals they're getting now. If you can get a wide receiver on a rookie contract, that's nearly as good as having a quarterback on a rookie contract.
It is.
So it's if you're a football player, go learn how to catch the ball.
And I don't know if you've watched much of Ohio State. It's a little out of our jurisdiction, but Jeremiah Smith, freshman wide receiver of the Buckeyes, 2 touchdowns in week 1, 2 touchdowns in week 2. Why he should be near and dear to your heart? I believe he's Geno Smith's cousin. And Geno's said, I've played with a lot of dudes. He might be the best ever. Kurt Herbstreit has said the same thing. Like, this guy is unreal. Like, we got to watch more Buckeyes football because he might be next. And I think there's a lot of wide receivers in college football. To your point, just get them on a rookie contract. You might let another wide receiver walk or trade him, and you can build around your core.
Yeah.
The new rookie quarterback deal is the rookie wide receiver deal if you want to win in the NFL. K Winn Big Ben trademarked it here today.
Absolutely. Get your wide receivers on a rookie contract. To be honest, think of a wide receiver. Cooper Kupp comes to mind, right? He's been around a handful of years, but there's not that many, there's not many like Cooper. You could think of Keenan Allen, stuff like that, but it is like it comes in waves, right? And I think this is a big wave for the wide receiver corps in the NFL. I'm excited. Xavier Worthy, I mean, he is plug and play Tyreek. If they can put some weight on him, man, he's fast.
Yeah.
He's
And
fast.
I don't know the first coach to do it or the first wide receiver to do it, but if you look at Devontae Adams in Green Bay, Debo, Tyreek Hill, like moving these wide receivers inside, outside, slot, screens in the backfield, like that's an offensive weapon. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these young wide receivers can do that. So when they get put on a team, it's not like, oh, I can't play the slot because there's someone in front of me. No, I'll just move to the outside. I'll move to the inside. I'll be in during bunch formations. Like the offense of the NFL is built around wide receivers right now.
I agree with you. I'm just hoping Marvin Harrison Jr. bounces back a little bit, which I think he will.
Yeah.
Get
I
out
have
of
him on
his
my
head, just
fantasy
become
team.
more natural. Let's go. Let's go. College football.
Yeah.
I got a headline quick. Sorry. I know you
Go
wanted
ahead.
a headline.
Yeah.
Pac-12 resurgence.
I know. I knew you were going there.
We have had 4 teams, which I like. So we have Fresno State, San Diego State, Colorado State, and Boise State all opt into the Pac-12 or at least notify the Mountain West Conference of their desire to
Intent.
leave. Intent. They have made a decision.
Okay.
They've made a decision, K Winn, but they have not taken the action of jumping yet. What I think is going to happen is the committal of these 4 teams is going to be some bait to draw schools like California, maybe, like Stanford, maybe. I think the Pac-12 is banking on the realignment of the ACC.
Yeah. Or the
Overall destruction.
demolition of the ACC.
I want your thoughts on that, and then throw me a headline.
I like it. I don't know what Stanford and Cal, I don't know if they sign like a contract or if it's year to year, but I would love to see Cal and Stanford back playing West Coast teams. And I love me some West Coast football and some West Coast teams. So I'm all in favor of it. I hope they do it, and I hope it works out.
I think what they're also going to do is with those 4 teams, they're decent markets, right? Boise's an emerging market. Fresno's kind of the inland
It's
empire.
good for football. I don't know how good it is for basketball, though.
You're right. If you're the Cougs, your affiliation with the WCC, and maybe it is only for football. Maybe they continue their affiliation with the Mountain West Conference for all Olympic sports or whatever it may be. But I agree with you. But what I think does also happen is if you can go, and it's all about money, right?
Yeah.
This is all about money. And for a lot of Cal and Stanford are smart. But if you can go get numbers for a specific media rights package that is on par with what you're getting with the ACC without the travel, with kind of a better message for students, athletes around their time and the ability to focus on academics as well, I think you have to listen if you're Cal and Stanford.
You definitely should listen. I mean, it's not like the ACC conference is booming in football. Florida State's lost. Clemson, we don't know which Clemson team. Is it the one that beat App State or the one that got destroyed by Georgia? Miami is looking good now, but that might be the only football team. And in basketball, I mean, I guess you got Duke, Carolina. It's good for basketball, but I don't think Stanford and Cal can compete in basketball in the ACC right now.
No. And I don't think they – I mean, you're flying – even at like a ROI, return on investment or cost benefit analysis on, us traveling all the way to, wherever we're going, Wake Forest to play a game, right, on a Tuesday or Thursday, and then you're, driving to wherever I think that makes less and less sense to Cal and Stanford, or surrounding those Olympic sports. You're right, in basketball.
Because you got to travel out east, you play one game. It's on a Thursday. I don't know the ACC schedule. Then you play on a Saturday or Sunday. You come back, or you got to leave again.
Yep. You don't want to do that. You can drive to Fresno. Exactly. Make it easy on you.
Bust the kids back and forth.
All right. That story is in progress.
I like it. I got a lot of things to cover. I'll cover it quickly. It's kind of a rant, or maybe my take about college football. USC is better than we all thought. Oregon is probably a little worse than we all thought. And Colorado is the exact same. Can't stop the run, can't run the ball. They can't win on the offensive defensive line. So they just lose big games. They talk the talk, but all they have is two superstars in the NFL first round and probably a sub 500 team, Big Ben.
Oh, yeah, I would agree. I would absolutely agree. I got a text from a buddy. He said, it's human endangerment to allow Shea Sanders. No, it's child endangerment to allow Shea Sanders to play quarterback behind the offensive line. Like it's that bad. In respect to the other two teams you mentioned, I think Oregon is still trying to figure out pieces and parts. It's a different brand of football than they're used to. It's not the same football in the Pac-12 that it is in the Big Ten, and I think
They haven't even played the Big Ten. They played Boise State and Idaho.
yeah, but you still got kind of the playbook that you overall are going to put in play in the Big Ten. You create the playbook for the teams, the conference you're going to play in. You don't play it for you don't create a playbook for Eastern Michigan, right? You create an
If that is
offense.
the case, this playbook is going to crash and burn once Big Ten
Oh, well,
football.
let's wait to see what Dan Lanning has. Maybe he's slow playing, not showing all his cards. Maybe he's intelligent in that way. Like I'm
But
not going to give
here's
you.
my problem with Oregon, and you know better than I do. You win football games, especially in the Big Ten, on the offense and defensive line. The Ducks have let up more sacks in the first two games than all of last year. Like it's a leaky protection system. They can't stop the run. That guy Gentry will try whatever his name on Boise State. He ran
Thrashed him,
wild,
thrashed him.
thrashed
But
him.
he's
Like
an
I don't know
NFL
if you can.
quarterback.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can
Excuse me, NFL
fix
running back.
the offensive defensive line weakness of the Ducks when you're playing Ohio State. Eventually you might have to play.
You got the Bay Area panics right now. I'm going to call them the Bay Area panics. No need
Okay.
to panic. They won both the games. They're
Here's where
okay.
I'm going with this. Ducks will lose in the Civil War Bowl this weekend. I got
Whoa!
Beavs
No, no,
over
no, 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 no,
Ducks.
no,
I got Beavs over Ducks.
no.
We're bringing it full circle. Pac-12's back. Apple Cup
Well,
and Civil War
ooh, it
this
is.
weekend.
Gosh, I forgot about those. The Apple Cup taking place, and based on I had another text from a buddy. He's like, "Listen, don't tell anyone, but I'm a Husky. I'm betting against the Huskies this week.
Wow.
They didn't look that great against Eastern Michigan. Again, Texas Tech isn't all that great, but the Cougs look pretty good. It will be interesting. There's no way Oregon State beats Oregon. There's no way. There is absolutely no way. There's just too many good athletes on Oregon versus Oregon State. Oregon State has some of the highest transfer rate of any program. First year coach, like, sorry, that's just
But what was the transfer in rate?
Jiminy Christmas. Jiminy Christmas. Let's do. Do we want a whiteboard and a calculator?
Are
Uh
you? How would you compare Oregon State to Idaho? I mean, is
oh,
Idaho like this sleeper that we don't know about?
this. Go look at Oregon's not alone in playing poorly in non-conference games this year. Like, go look across the league. Like, they're just, you don't want to get anyone injured. You don't want to show all your playbook. You just want to win the games and get out of there. Pay the other
They're
team for
barely
coming.
winning these. They're winning the games with special teams. I don't think that's in their
No
playbook.
pictures on the scorecard. Like, it doesn't matter. It's a win. It's a win. I don't think the committee's not going to look back at those and go, they only beat Idaho by
I'm
uh,
not saying that. I'm just saying when someone shows you who they are, you got to believe them. And we see who the Ducks are. And we got to believe them when they're playing
no,
these
no,
bigger
that's not
games.
who the Ducks are. That's sorry. That's what I'm saying. It's just not who the Ducks are. There's a lot more behind what's going on, and I think it's you don't have the playbook. You're probably figuring out run blocking schemes and so forth. It's an audition, K Winn. You
Okay.
go out there and you say, okay, we're going to try some things. We're going to make sure things work. We're going to make sure things work before we get in a Big Ten play. Right? You do these things, and you're going to have mistakes when you do that. That's Dan Lanning's probably sitting there going, I can't believe we won those two games because we were trying all these new things. And it's not that I couldn't believe, but we got by in trying these new things without exposing our playbook, without all these things. I feel better going into Big Ten play.
Okay. Time will tell.
And by the way, Idaho and the Kibby Dome, Jiminy Christmas. Okay. So you're scared for the Ducks. You're more up on the Trojans.
Yeah. Like Joel Klatt said it. I was listening to his podcast as I was walking Theo. What would I said Lane Kiffin. What would Lincoln Riley's team look like with an average defense? We might actually see it this year. They might have a better than average defense. They got D'Anton Lynn from UCLA's defensive coordinator. They look better. Like last year, I think they gave up 49 points to Cal. That's right, Cal. 52 to UW. I mean, UW's great, but you can't give up 52 and like 40 plus in Notre Dame. Like, you're not going to win any games. Like, they have a better scheme. They have a better defense. I think USC could go 10-2, 9-3. They got this week off. They go to the Big House, and then they go to Wisconsin. I think they split those games, and then they've got Penn State at home, and then Notre Dame last game of the season. USC is in the playoff, 10-2.
Well, if there's any,
and you know what? You always talk about the K Winn jinx. We're going to talk about the Big Ben jinx. You were high on Oregon, and they are in the toilet.
What the Jimmy? Get off Dan Lanning.
The Big Ben
Lanning. What do you have against Oregon?
You need to apologize to the Ducks.
Did you get a foul pair of Nikes or Jordans recently that you weren't happy with?
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'll take the rope-a-dope. Yeah, they're down. Everyone drop their guard when Oregon comes into play. They're going to lose. No, I don't think that's the case. I think there's okay.
Do they beat Ohio State on October 12th in Eugene?
October 12th? Can you ask me like on October 5th? Just
all right. I'll ask you today, and I'll ask you then. I want to see if your story changes.
You've seen the real Ducks.
Once they lose to the Beavs, I want to see if you change your story.
Okay. I think the Ducks are going to be just fine. I'm worried about Washington. Let's talk about a little bit about the other programs that are going in it. Washington's going to be probably a 6-6 school in conference play. Or inclusive of they just first year for Fish. He can do everything he can, but he just doesn't have the athletes. UCLA, probably same thing.
No. They're 4 wins.
4 wins for UCLA.
4-8.
You know better than I. I want to touch on Colorado real quick, and then
Let's hear it.
Deion Sanders has juiced everything he can out of Colorado. He's used every resource. He's bought most attention that program's ever seen in its lifetime. But the people, Feinbaum said he'd be great, or someone came out and said he'd be great at an SEC school, and I agree. Like you just have more resources around you. You have more money to go hire really good assistants. You have, jets to go recruit on. You got everything at an SEC school. I think Deion Sanders has gone as far as he possibly can at Colorado. And that's just due to the raw attention coming into the program. Not necessarily how good they are. Like if you really wanted to create a good program.
We have an earthquake right now. But keep going.
Whoa.
Yeah. That's Theo barking.
Hold on,
all right, it's done. It's California. It's done.
That earthquake was Deion Sanders coming into Boulder. I just got to say that Deion has done all he can. He draws the most attention to the program, which benefits him from transport. But when you got kids coming in and out and in and out and in and out, especially on the offensive line, like you got to get kids that are used to working together. The offensive line is more of a unit than anything else. And when you got transfers coming in every year, and you're just trying to plug holes, that's not going to work. You're going to win a few games in the Big 12, but not much. And after
500 team,
and after Sanders, after his son leaves for the NFL, he's going to be a free agent. And if I'm Deion, I take a look in the face and be like, do I want to go somewhere for 6-7 years? Because that's what it takes to build a program. You can't build a program 3-4 years. We'll see.
I think this was all a part of his plan. Listen, I'm going to go to Colorado for 2 years. We're going to pay in the Pac-12. Things change. We're in the Big 12. I'm going to get on my platform and bring all the eyes and attention to the program to uplift the program, get my son to be an NFL first rounder, get Travis Hunter to be an NFL first rounder, and then I'm going to get the bag and go to an SEC team. I don't see him staying at Colorado once his son leaves. I think, one, he's got his son to the NFL, but two, I don't think he can do anything else at Colorado. Look at Ohio State. The rumor is they have a $20 million team. Colorado can't put $20 million on the field. They can't compete against Georgia and Texas and Bama. So I think he's going to leave for the SEC. Where he goes, we're going to have to see where the musical chairs end up.
Well, that's a long look in the mirror, right? Like you can't, if you come into a SEC school, and the alumni base get the idea that you're just going to leave after a couple of years. No SEC school wants to be known as the stepping stone for another school. Yeah. Like that's your be all end all. You better sit down in the chair and find it at least is a pretty comfortable. And I don't know if Deion Sanders translates all that well to a lot of SEC programs. And I don't say that, I say that purely on kind of staying time, and like they want to know that you're going to build the program, right? You're not just going to try to put a winner on the field, but you're going to want to build a program, right? There's a difference. Like I can put a 6-6 team on the field, but to put a team that's got some staying power, you got to recruit well and like go and get assistant coaches that want to be at that program with you.
Yeah, well, I think the teams or the schools you want to be at in the SEC, I think their coaches are pretty stable.
Yeah.
I almost think it's a program that wants to be relevant again on the bigger schedule, like a Florida State, his alma mater, or even Gainesville, Florida. Like I think those kind of schools would be desperate. Yep. Or even a Clemson if Dabo can't get it together. I think you're going to need a desperate Power 4 school. Or because I don't think he's going to take a job at like Vandy, right?
No.
Or like
they would run him out of Vandy.
Or Arkansas. I don't think he's going to take that kind of job.
No, I agree with you. All right.
I'm excited. We're almost out of here. Fantasy football tonight. Devon Achane. Is he going to play? Is he not going to play?
I don't know. Yeah.
We'll find out 90 minutes before. I'm hoping he plays because my backups aren't looking very good.
My backup is Zeke. Ooh,
yuck. Zeke got a Teddy last week.
He did. What was his earthquake? Anything fall off? You okay?
No, it just felt like someone was like moving my desk.
Okay. But we're okay.
Everything's okay.
For the first time for everything.
The Jalen Green shoe signed is still okay.
Earthquake on the pod. I love it. All right. You want to take us
All right. Let's wrap this up. At Big Ben K Winn _ at Big Ben K Winn _ everywhere you look and find your social media, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook, we're everywhere. Download, listen, subscribe, 5-star review us. Anywhere you get your podcast, drop your comments below. I'm K Winn, he's Big Ben. Week 2, I can't wait. Anthony Richardson, he better do it again.
Who you got tonight?
I'm going Miami because I don't think Josh Allen trusts all his weapons or knows them quite yet. I think Miami has to win. It's at home, I think, in South Beach. I think Mike McDaniel schemed something up. Listen, if the Bills couldn't slow down Arizona, they're not going to slow down the Dolphins on the road.
If Achane plays, game over. If he doesn't, we'll see. Boom.
Boom.
Stay safe.
You too.